Welcome everybody to another episode of the World. A part
Wait,
of
cut,
the.
cut, Emily, cut.
I am actually live, Kurt. I'm live on YouTube and Facebook, as well as the recording.
Emily, yeah, well, let's record that because right now you have the Zoom host, and that does not allow me to do YouTube editing.
Oh, that's right. Well, anyway, at least that gave us time for Bill to come on time.
There we go. Loneliness does suck after all. Well,
Mr. Bill CD. How's life in the world?
Yeah.
How's life in the world?
Okay.
Emily, you can continue because at least I'm on the right track. Go ahead and let's do it.
So, as I was saying,
can I go first since I've been on a trifecta and I have to go check on my neighbor?
Yes. I was saying, welcome to another episode of the World of Ability, which is a part of the World of Ability podcast network. This shows the anchor show of that network. That was the launch July 26, 2020. And special thanks to Marcus Hart of Transform U Media, Jay Storian of the Disability Channel, Zach Clayton of the PAC Channel, and Lawrence Wingate of Wingate Studios for replaying the show on their platforms. So that's over to you, Kurt. Do you have any?
Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm Kurt Roskoff. I'm one of your co-hosts today for the World of Ability podcast show. As Emily said, our anchor show for the World of Ability Podcast Network. The World of Ability Podcast Network was created in collaboration with the Disability Channel, the Transform U Media Network, and with Prosperity Pathways Onward and Upward, ASGAD, technology. And so it was something that kind of came into play right in the midst of learning about the Happy Neighborhood Project. And so seeing such a networking worldwide business community, the happiest place in the world for business people, and seeing the social mission on it is just really great and really attracting a lot of social entrepreneurs, doing a lot of good out in the world. So with that, we're going to dive right in. And Emily is going to introduce Marianne. She's going to sticking with us here before she's got to head out. So Emily, let's get this in. Let's get that message from Marianne.
Marianne Waikiki. I met through the Happy Neighborhood Project. First meeting her as Marianne of Waikiki, but she has since changed to being Marianne of Mexico, and is an author with has a Acts of Kindness book series, a few app games with sign language puppets. So, what do you have to say today, Marianne? Anything you want to add?
Well, aloha and hola. Thank you, Kurt and Emily and the Disability Channel for providing this amazing service. Yeah, what great shows we've had here. We had Leah McLaughlin talking about Clean Water Foundation and his fundraisers in Beverly Hills, California, and learning a little bit more about water and how he brings these filters to 35 countries. And it's all good information because we're going to be partnering and bringing the good news to the world. So, yeah, thank you again. I'm the author of the Acts of Kindness series. My books are written for animation movies with sign language characters and soundtrack by Lucy Lynch in The Perfect Way. The puppet company is Volcanus, and they have 200 puppets. And our first book is called Underwater Acts of Kindness, featuring Noah, the hardy herring whale, who was recruited by a sea turtle called the General of the New Earth Army to tackle the Great Pacific Garbage Patch between Hawaii and California. And oh, by the way, that book was written for the Animal Planet TV show Tank Guides to Bring It to Hollywood. And again, Leanne McLaughlin is going to be there in Beverly Hills in a couple of weeks with some realtors doing some fundraising. So he's so grateful that you've had us on the show so he can share these audio and podcasts with them so that they know about the Happy Neighborhood Project, the Disability Channel, and what amazing networking we've done with everybody here with HNP. So glad to be here again. And my second book was Rabbit Acts of Kindness, No Bully, featuring Harry the Hardy Herring Rabbit, Chelsea the Courageous Sign Language Chicken, and Eve the Fingerspelling Bumblebee. And I have a website, actsofkindnessseries.com. You can visit it. It's in, right now we're uploading some different things. We have videos of the signing characters to learn the ASL fingerspelling alphabet. And then I have uploaded 11 app games. So you can go play the app games for free. And I'm currently working, various hours with my team of fiber graphic designers out of Pakistan. And we're working on the third book, Cool Acts of Kindness for Climate Change. And my co-writer, Suzanne Sims, left Waikiki, Hawaii also. She's been in Guadalajara. And she's going to be going back to Phoenix the next week. So we will start sitting down with Leanne and myself. The chapters are outlined. The puppets are in place. We've got to come up with a story. And we're going to have a play inside this book with stage puppets. And soundtrack by Lucy and the Perfect Wave. Lucy has 4 specific singles that are out there. So I'm positioning a raccoon named Kenny Cancun, who sings the song Yes I Can. He's in a garbage can. And Eve or Queen Bee for a song called She Believes. Also an ostrich named Rich and Radiant I Am. And also the final finale song will be Love is the Only Way with a Robot. So we're going to highlight the 5 elements of earth, wind, fire, metal, and water. And we have the elementary elephants in there. So the creativity is rolling, and again, it's from thought to action. And looking forward to working on these projects. So so glad to be here again. We had several shows this morning, so I'm going to share the good news and introduce other people, such as Barbara. She is a retired teacher. Barbara, I know you love the characters and you talk about it. Behind me is a flyer where all classroom teachers can get copies of my books from donorschoose.org. We have 30,000 schools in the USA and 3,000 deafblind schools. So we sent a press release kit to them to let them know how they can get copies of the books and the puppets for free. So take it away, Barbara. Glad to see you.
Well, so thank you so much. You can hear me okay? Oh, I guess not. Yeah, let's see what I can do to get heard. And backgrounds, okay.
Yep, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear, Barbara.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, we can hear loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, I thought today what I want to talk about, when we're looking at helping each other, right? And, people with different disabilities. And I found when I started doing this Buddhist practice 55 years ago with chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I got introduced to both Toastmasters and I got introduced to all the 12-step programs by getting to know people that normally I would never get to know. And I would make people crazy because I would come to a meeting where they're saying we can't do any kind of drugs at all. We're going to refrain from any kind of drugs. And then I'd be like, excuse me, but that coffee pot over there and the sugar was lighted. And people were like, oh, let her in. And I'd say, don't worry, I brought my juicer and I got carrots and I got celery, and we're all going to drink that instead. And, or even just to jump up and say, you guys are so beautiful. I don't think you know how beautiful you are. It made me learn that if I wanted to be close to these people that made me feel like loved and like I could breathe and, like that we're fighting so passionately for love and for integrity, more than anyone else I saw. And I really appreciated that. But trying to, the motto there is as long as I don't pick up. Now here I am, 73, with like three surgeries, on my back and on my neck and on my ankle. And so, of course, I've been given painkillers to use. And I was so afraid because of being a Holocaust survivor kid. I was holding on to life, so hard and so afraid of doing anything wrong, of anything that could make me weaker or not as smart, not as clear, that I never could like play with other people. I never could drink or do anything like that. Everything would just kind of add to my fear and the sense of living life. So now I'm in my desire to be happy and interact with people. I'm trying to figure out how important is it. I know when I visited, and I know it's hard to follow the way I talk, because I talk a little bit the way I think, and there's all kinds of intersections in how my thoughts go and like what I'm doing right now. But what I found is that like my friend who was having a drinking problem, and another friend said, whatever you do, don't drink with her, right? And I was actually looking forward to, I'm going to see Lima, we're going to have fun, and I'm going to drink and I'll feel safe. But I listened to that guidance and didn't, and just tried to do my best being with her, with us both being as straight, as sober, as well as she could be, and as I could be, trying to be, coherent and expressing my love to this person. And shortly after that, she became one of the world's best AA leaders. And I thought she was so great because a girl came to her who had just failed every single one of her classes. And Leon was so smart. She just looked at this girl and gave her a big smile and a big hug. And she went, I'm so proud of you. She's, you're strong, because it had to be really hard to get every single one of your teachers, to be willing, to give you an F. So yeah, there's not, and just could make like the girl laugh and feel like, she had a right to be on the planet with the problems she was having. So I'm trying to figure out how important is it, if I want to put loving people before anything that I want to do, or how important, is my happiness or my not being in pain, and trying to get it balanced. So in the short time we have, the famous poet, what was his name, Mary Oliver, he said, what are you going to do with your very short and very precious life? And knowing, how much time I have left, wanting to make the best causes, to create the best results for myself and my children and grandchildren. This is something that I was thinking I wish I could talk to people about, what, our different kinds of disabilities, and as we're all trying to break through so we can be happy and we can be loved and loving. But that's what I wanted to throw into the mix of this show today. Was I somewhat audible, articulate, and coherent to you guys?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Anyone? Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's tricky because we want to put love first, and we want to understand how to like love ourselves and how to love other people, and that's what we're here for, right? That's what the
Right.
show's all about.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
Whoever
Well,
was
Also,
I would say, yeah, I would say that, you know, what Barbara is sharing is very akin to why I love having her on here, why I call her a color commentator. And, you know, Barbara comes on here and says things in such an eloquent fashion and just really hits to the root of it and really, you know, brings where our souls can be, you know, as we come forward and do what we do in life. Just looking at the journey, the idea is, you know, it's important to enjoy the journey. And, you know, with the Happy Neighborhood Project, Edwin and Helen remind us, don't let the, you know, past or the future rob us of the present. So there's a lot of the living in the now and appreciating what we have right here. And in the work of World of Ability, you know, as a passion project, and, you know, to really be a disruptor and to say, you know, maybe we can all around the world take a self-examination and go ahead and see what happens collectively. And in my work with HMP, to see what might spur with thousands of people, 3,800 co-op members, and to look at what that collection of people can do as we're aspiring to triple our community, to get from 3,800 to over 10,000 people, you know, this mantra and social enterprise of spreading happiness around the world, you know, riding on the coattails of the work of Edwin Edeberry. And, you know, so I want to go ahead and introduce into our show Bill Scalzi, because I think in kind of a roundabout way, as Bill is sitting there with his mantra of loneliness sucks and romance by choice, and I can only imagine, well, I guess I can't imagine, I guess I'm teased. I'm teased by what people may have ended up telling Bill about their journey in life. I know that there's another friend at HMP that is also dealing in kind of a relationship spin of, you know, serving this aspect, you know, again, in a roundabout way, could say romance, but just kind of this, you know, this aspiration of finding that soulmate out there, finding somebody to share the rest of your life with, and, you know, maybe a little hesitant to enter the dating scene or to get into courtship and stuff like that. So, Bill, can you come in here and speak a little bit? You know, you're really coming in with a business that really, you know, starts to, you know, unravel stuff that people may be a little timid to share. I can only imagine how you maybe were on Zoom sessions where the other person was very reluctant, but then once you win them over and you kind of warm them up, that, you know, that you're prepared to talk to these very intimate topics and so forth. What does that all look like, Bill, and any other response you might have to Barbara with what she all shared? I'm guessing you enjoyed it as much as me, maybe more.
Yes,
Take it away, Bill.
very enjoyable. And, you know, I mean, a lot of work I do is all about inspiring my clients to learn how to love and respect themselves. Because if you don't love and respect yourself, no one else is going to. So that's a big part of the training that I do. But my training all came from the fact that I realized that many years ago when I started researching the subject, that no one has taught anyone about relationships. And therefore, relationships are all formed by chance. We hear things, we were told things, the movies, television, our parents have all put ideas in our head about what a relationship should look like. And yet we do know that the failure rate of relationships is very high. 1 out of every 2 marriages fails. And giving that statistic, there's got to be a reason. And part of that reason comes from the fact that people don't realize they have a choice in who they get involved. Because of everything that's been put into their heads, they're sometimes at a loss. How does someone get involved with someone who abuses them or someone who mistreats them? But that's what we were told. We thought, relationships don't always run smoothly. You have ups and downs. You're going to have fights and arguments and things like this. But, you got to work your way through it. And because of these stories that we accept these behaviors from other people. And, you don't put any time. People spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning their love life. So this is what my program is all about. It's all about teaching people how to reach inside themselves and think in the now for themselves. I tell them, sometimes people say, well, that sounds selfish. I said, well, it might be, but this is the one time in your life you truly get to be selfish. Because I ask them a long list of questions about personalities, habits, hobbies, traits, religions, finances, animals, pets, children, all kinds of things that you could think of. That I ask my clients, tell me what you will accept and will not accept. It's your choice. And I don't care whatever your mother or sisters or brothers or friends have told you. You're not a selfish person if you say, I don't want that. You're being honest with yourself. You know what you can deal with and what you cannot deal with. And we create 3 lists. We create an imperative list, which are the qualities and traits you must have in the person that you would like to be in a relationship with. An important list, which are qualities that you would like to have, but you're willing to negotiate. And a deal breaker list. And anything that's on the deal breaker list is it. That's exactly what it is, a deal breaker list. You don't make excuses and you don't minimize them. But this is where couples get into trouble. They will meet someone, they will start going out with them, and there will be X numbers of things on the imperative list that are good, some things on the important list, and every once in a while, something pops up that's on the deal breaker list. And they ignore it. And I tell them that's the biggest mistake you can make. Because people don't change. And it's not your job to change the person so that you can have a relationship. It's not going to work out. So it's about teaching people to be truthful to themselves, honest with themselves, loyal to themselves. Because when they do that, then they will have a very strong foundation for a great relationship. So I always ask my clients 3 questions. Who are you? How do you choose to live the rest of your life? And who do you choose to live it with? And that's the foundation to build through the program. And we get those questions answered. We also teach people the way to date. How do you go on a date? What is the purpose of a date? I tell my clients the only reason for date number 1 is to ever see if there's going to be a date number 2, nothing else. And the same with date number 2. Is there going to be a date number 3? Because during this process, in a very nice, loving, and friendly way, you are looking to discover things about the person that you're having a meeting with, which is only normal. And as I say, when those bad things show up, out the door they go. That's the hardest part for most people to deal with. Because I've often found that no matter how bad a person is, there's always something good about them that somebody can say, I like that. And they'll hang on for that reason. So we can't give in to frustration just because we're in a hurry. So I hope that starts the foundation for what you were looking for, Kurt. And, you know, it's when people realize that they can be inspired to go out and seek it, they seek it. I teach people how to use online dating. Online dating for a lot of people is a horror film, but it doesn't have to be. Online dating can be a wonderful resource for finding people as long as you know what you're doing and what, again, you will accept. I help write their profiles. I help make sure the photos they put online of themselves are truly representative of who they are and not some selfie they took in the car and stick it up there and wonder why nobody's bothering them. And, you know, they have to understand the guidelines. I mean, you may live in one state and someone messages you from 3 states away. Well, is that something kind of relationship you would like to have? I mean, how are you going to see the person 3 states away? But people get involved in phone conversations, texting conversations, and they just keep leading themselves on when they have to get real. When they get real about it, they have the result they're looking for. Well, is that a good place to start?
I would say absolutely. You make me chuckle as you say about a selfie taken in the car, because actually people go to my Facebook profile. That's what they'll see. But I am happily married, so I'm not trying to attract another person in this way. But just kind of a little funny thought as you were talking right there. But for sure. In this realm of disability advocacy, Bill, what I learned in the last decade, it was really awe-striking for me, not just for what it is, but for me as well, like my own self-identity and just what I realized I was missing in how I understand the world and how the world works and how it doesn't work. And this is what I'm driving at, Bill, is disability advocates and in these events where points are brought up, and then to think of romance and to think of the disability sectors. Let's start thinking of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Let's think of the blind community, the deaf community, people with physical disabilities, those who are living in chronic pain, folks with a mental health diagnosis, those who have a goal of substance use reduction. Maybe start thinking of everybody being served by social workers and the realm of social work and health and human services and aging and disability services. And you just start going through the demographics. And now let's come back to the disability community. It just really was like a real wow to think about the history of our country, and to look at, whether you go back to the 50s or whatever decade you want to go to, and even carry over to today. And we think of people with disabilities, and we think of romance, and we think of marriage. Like, let's take the marriage penalty legislation, where basically our legislators set it up that when a person that doesn't have a disability, doesn't have benefits, marries somebody who does, all of a sudden that caseworker is starting to eliminate benefits because now they got married. So then what happens is that people with disabilities don't get married because it's economically upside down for them. And then you look at institutionalization, look at the facilities set up, whether group homes or things like this. It is built on a mantra that people with disabilities don't have a life of romance. Because when people with disabilities are provided a bed, now obviously getting beyond romance here, but maybe depending on how you want to talk about it, but to say that really the structure, institution, government, things are funded. You know, people with disabilities don't get a partner, you know, in bed. You know, so it's just really a striking thing on my side of this equation to just look at where the disability community took me, disability advocacy, this element of romance and you know, lifelong partnership and the institution of marriage. Any reaction you have to the conversation I bring in this, or what does it tell you?
The laws aren't always fair, as we know, in many, many areas. And, you know, the part about someone with a disability married someone who doesn't have, they want to start taking benefits away. That's not something that should happen. Okay, if a person's entitled to help from the government, they should be able to get it. And it shouldn't be penalized for it. But by the same token, people with disabilities shouldn't be ashamed of the disability they have and the fact that that may keep them from finding a relationship. One of the things I always encourage all my clients to do is to be upfront with whatever they have as an issue, whether it's a health issue, disability issue, whatever it is, to put that out there. Because there are people who are looking for someone who they can match with. Maybe another person with disability finds you because they know you have what they're looking for. It may be a complementary thing. It may be the same thing. But we should be proud of who we are and what we are. We should love ourselves for it. And not let people put us in a, you know, on the back seat just because, you know, we're different than they are. It's very important that, that's why I say it's so important. People have to love themselves and respect.
Absolutely. Yep. So we got a great conversation going here. I want to bring Barbara in again. And while Barbara, as you're collecting your thoughts, I just want to bring up here Gracie watching, listening here, and you know, participating by typing comments. Gracie says sometimes people online dating can be scary, especially some people might scam you. So Barbara, any reaction to that? Do you find that around you? Is a lot of scams going on with you or people you know, or just in conversations? What is the world of scams for you?
Yeah, definitely, especially because of my age and my address. But I know when I first started my biggest practice, when I first started chanting, and I said I want to be in a world where people don't lie. You know, that was my goal. And I was told, well, we can't promise you could be in a world where nobody lies, but we can promise you that you'll become more sensitive, more astute, more awake, and you'll be able to know when people are lying to you. And that's, you know, that's a benefit right there, because when someone's telling me that, you know, they have a doctorate degree in something and I'm seeing their problem they have putting words in English and spelling things like that, you know, it's pretty, people give themselves away often, you know, when they're trying to scam you. Or I would turn the telephone onto like camera mode video, you know, where I could see the person, and right away they hang up really fast. And you can kind of get sensitive to when people are scamming you and why they would be trying to scam you. It would break my heart. You know, not only was I a teacher, but I also worked as a counselor. And these women who would cry because the thing they were most proud of in their whole life is that they were married, that someone loved them, they loved somebody, but they couldn't tell anyone because they would lose benefits because they had children, and they knew that they had to lie about being married. Or and just be so heartbroken over that, because weddings are supposed to be something that you can celebrate, right? And you can invite your friends and family, and it's supposed to be a big celebration, but we don't realize that many people in the United States that I know weren't able to have a marriage, weren't able to make a celebration because of that fear of losing money. And I know that I was once told, until you see this person, until you know that they're stable financially and emotionally, it's your benefit not to be married to this man. You have better chance of taking care of your children by not claiming marriage. So the idea that we can go through all this paperwork and all this bureaucracy where we're trying to tell people this is what's happening, and the people in my family can can back this up, and you're talking to someone who goes, well, it says right here on the computer, we have it in our paperwork that this is what's happening, and you go, no, we're human beings, we're people, and we can vouch for each other, and you can believe us. We have to become so sensitive that we're willing to really do the extra work and get to know each other and get to care on that really heart to heart, person to person level, where people don't have to worry so much about losing their jobs by doing the wrong thing. That we know we're all generals among generals. And I once saw, and if you can follow my thoughts here, I once saw this old man in DC crying. He was brilliant. He created the system where people could get onto subways, where you put your card in and it swoops over to the other side. And just a very bright man. But he was crying. He said, the Jewish people have lost their soul. And I was asking him, what are you talking about? And he said, because we have to know this thing that we're people together, and we're all the general, we're all the president, it's not. And a whole bunch of people got murdered because this one man thought, well, he had to go up the chain of command, and he knew that there was going to be a terrible thing happening in a warlike situation. There was going to be a genocide, and because he didn't think that he could just reach out, talk to the people that could make a difference, that thought, he was this lowly person that had to try to go up the chain of command. And I see this again and again. He wasn't able to save these people when he actually could have. And we need to be aware of the parts of ourselves. There's a movie called The Reader, and it's a true story about what was happening in Nazi Germany. And it was about the woman who had all these people locked in a building. They were locked in a church-like building, and she had the key to let them out. And a fire started inside. And why she didn't rescue these people, and she had such a fear of things getting out of control. She felt like she had to be able to control everything. And I wished we should be so much more conscious, conscientious that we don't have to control everything, especially, it's out of fear of losing our job, that we can more be, I trust myself to feel this person's heart, or I trust myself to do the right thing by caring. And I hope that I'm communicating here, that people are understanding me, because I've seen this again and again. It makes so much sense that we should trust each other, that we can come from our heart and we can come from our own intuition. And if you make a mistake that way, it wouldn't be such a terrible mistake that people have to be so afraid. Did that communicate clearly? I hope. Or were you able to understand what I was trying to say, the point I was trying to make?
Absolutely, absolutely. Lots of great thoughts there, Barbara. Really opens up the expanse of what Gracie really brought forward. So thank you, Gracie. But Bill, what is your response to this? Where does the element of risk and do you hear that, whether through your business or just other life experience, this reality of people just have to kind of just pay attention a little bit to make sure they're not just walking the situation of being victimized. What do you think?
Well, see, online dating, they made a big thing about people who get scammed. People also get scammed in face-to-face. You could meet someone in a bar, in a restaurant, on the beach, and get scammed. We can't be, but see, what happens is, and I tell my clients, I said, look, there's nothing wrong with running background checks on people. Mm-hmm. Also, there's nothing wrong when you meet someone online, you should Zoom date with them. You shouldn't text. I tell my clients, please, no texting. Because you could be texting a 12-year-old boy or somebody in state prison, for all you know, if they have a phone. So when someone messages you, the first thing you do is set up a Zoom call with them. If they won't do a Zoom call, they're hiding something. If they do a Zoom call, now you get to see who they are. And that's the first thing. And then as you get to know them, you can look people up online. It's not hard to do that. I help my clients do that. So let's put the person's name right in, see what comes up in Google. Sometimes you find something. Sometimes one client, I had a client who told me the guy she was talking to was 60 years old. We put his name in, where he lived, and we found out he was 72 years old. So I said, if he lies about his age, he'll lie about anything. So, you have to do your due diligence, whether you meet that person, whether you were introduced through a friend, met him in a bar, or met him online. You have to be able to do some due diligence to get to know them. That's part of the dating process, is to get to know someone. I understand sometimes what happens is these, especially men, take advantage of, but there's a lot of women too, advantage of older men who have money, and then they start with the hard luck stories. But those are usually people that they have never met. It's all been virtual meetings. You've got to do Zoom, you've got to see who they are, and you've got to meet the people in person. You shouldn't deal with someone who's thousands of miles away from where you live. You need a destination parameter. And say, I only want someone who's 30 minutes from where I live. Because if you're going to visit them to have dinner during the week, you want to be able to have dinner and go home. Or you don't want to have to travel 2 or 3 hours to have dinner with somebody. That wouldn't make any sense, would it? So there's a lot that has to be done. That's all part of the program that we do, is teaching people all of these safeguards, teaching them the things they need to watch out for. I had a client the other day who said, this guy, they seemed to have a nice time. The guy did seem to have a little bit of an issue with anger once in a while, that something had happened. And the guy invited her over to his house for dinner. I said, don't go. I said, it's too soon. You don't know anything about him. And there's some red flags. So why are you going to walk into a situation that can become uncomfortable? So she said, I never thought about that. But she was caught up in the excitement of this person. I said, it's too soon to be in someone's home. They've only had, I think, 1 or 2 dates or something. So keep it all outside. You get to know the person better. Any other questions?
Bill, we're going to come back with more questions for sure, but I want to acknowledge one of our friends and collaborators with the Clean Water Foundation, Leon McLaughlin. He connected in with us. He's been on past shows of ours, supporting content and great messages out with the Disability Channel and here with the World Ability Podcast Networks. So Leon's back on the World Ability Podcast right now, and there's some events, so you talk about dating and doing stuff together as couples and whatever. What a great idea to go join Leon and the crew out at one of these amazing events. So Leon, you want to come in here and give us a little bit of the event calendar, your travels, and then more on the world of what's going on in the Clean Water Foundation.
Yeah, Lee, thank you for having me on. Yeah, so we're doing some events for water for children around the world. And we're going to have a music dinner auction event April 29th at Hardcourt Realty in Beverly Hills. We're going to have another Water for Children event May 27th at Life Community Church in Kirkland, Washington. And we have a ranch in Woodinville, Washington. We're going to have an event there on July 14th, 15th, 16th. And the proceeds will go to purchase water units for children around the world. We're also connecting up with Marianne Waikiki on some of her characters that she have that we'll be working with her on. So yeah, it's going to be pretty nice. And to get the word out, water for children, the disabilities that we're doing, the veterans. So this bundle package is really a great bundle package that we're putting together, and it's going to be helping a lot of people, children and their families. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So come on out. It's free events that we're giving, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to have food, music, and it's nice to have gatherings, I think, like this for people to connect up. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and everyone's welcome.
All right, excellent. So
Also,
Leon, I'm going to
if
come
you'd like
back.
to know more, they can go to our website, www.wa.org, if you want to check out what we're doing with our Water for Children events.
That's www.cleanwaterfoundationwa.org.
www.cleanwaterfoundationwa.org, because we're in Washington. Yep, that's exactly right.
Excellent, Leon. So Leon, I'm gonna come back at you on a personal note. You join us on a show today where we're talking about romance. We have Bill from Romance by Choice. His tagline is "Loneliness Sucks." So Leon, let us get to know you like real intimately here. Where are you in the world of romance? What is this in your life?
I'm basically married to the business. So I have to check the business out, like he said. So that's where my romance goes.
Well, Leon, that is actually a great response, because Bill was asking if there's any questions, and I think that is a thing, Bill. That your service is very helpful, and for those of us who are workaholics in a business, like don't have time for romance because we work too much.
Yeah,
what do you
that's
think about that, Bill? Where do you find that in your business, Romance by Choice? Are you helping people relax the workload and make some room for romance? What do you think?
Well, again, it comes down to a little bit of distance. One is, if what's more important in your life? Do you want a companion? Do you want someone to be with? Do you want to be able to share your life? Do you just want to be a workaholic and just work? That's the question. It says, how do you choose to live the rest of your life? That's a very important question. Everybody has to answer for themselves. Because if you don't know how you choose to live the rest of your life, someone is going to tell you, and it's probably not going to be fun. Or one day we wake up and we say, oh my God, I've spent 16 hours a day on my business, and now what do I have? I wake up one day and there I am, all myself. And I'm too old to do the things I wanted to do. We can't just dedicate ourselves to all the work in the world. We're going to pay a price. So are we willing to pay the price that comes with what we choose? If it's our choice and we have made that choice freely, then by all means live. If you want to work 24 hours a day and you're happy and that gives you such great pleasure, do it, please. But, you know, it's all our choice. We have the choice.
There we go. Good choice of words. And as you
Yeah,
say,
and I-
working 24 hours a day, it makes me think people must be sleepwalking out there. We have some zombies.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think you do make a choice. I mean, I've made the choice to work hard because, you know, we're working to bring children clean, fresh drinking water. And what really got me dedicated to doing this when we were in Bolivia and the children came up and say, well, stepdad, you're our only ticket out. And I was like, wow, if I'm the only ticket out, we really got to go to work. And to see those kids, you know, suffering and hurting, needing clean water, which is here, you know, it's no big deal in America. I mean, we can go to any water faucet, any shower. Well, when you get kids with no running water, it's kind of made me dedicated to do this. And we've been years now, but, you know, there is rewards when you travel, you meet people, but doing something so to do good, to do well, I think is a good thing. So that's what we're doing. But it is, you said, a choice.
Yeah.
And I've been in the entertainment business before that for over 20 years because I book shows at the Paramount. So I've seen all the great acts, entertainment, had a lot of fun, and that's why we do music. And when we go in different fundraisers, do what we in countries, we have what inauguration celebration of clean water, where we actually have a musical and have people, you know, dancing and having a good time. So it is some good things that go with that as they call perks.
There you go. Perks are always so. So Barbara, you've got you great sunrise, sunset today. It's all good. But you obviously like to water. So we're talking about clean water for children and so forth. Barbara, where you know that's raised concern for you too. Do you share Leon's you know desire to the world that all kids in the world get clean water?
Oh yeah, right away I was like wanting to connect Leon with the Enviro Projects International, where they have Water for Mercy is one of the programs that to bring clean drinking water to so many thousands of children. And one of the things when I think, what am I doing in this world, I think I need to be networked because I get to meet very bright people who are doing good things, and I would like to connect people so we can help each other. Yeah, this idea.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah, isn't that the guy we met like a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daniel Bursch. He started, and you know that was, I mean, my dream, where I think, yeah, I want to do great things to help people around the world network that want to create schools where children are taught, you're so precious to us, and what we want you to know more than anything is you deserve to be happy. And we're together to let you know that your education is just a gift we can give you to help you have a happier, richer life. And that we're doing this, and that we're creating the clean water, and we're creating the wonderful organic foods to eat that make people feel good and strong and healthy. And, you know, we're doing the things that are good to the planet. And I said, you know, I can't do this all by myself. You know, like just, you know, from my home in my own head, I need to find out, you know, who I can serve, where to find people to believe in and to trust and to work with. And I woke up really early that morning and started praying with that kind of passion. And all of a sudden on my phone, I'm meeting this person who's had the same dream that I've had, to encourage young people about how good life actually is right now and how much better it can be by showing them the people that are doing wonderful things, that are great teachers. And I meet this person that's put even, you know, more effort, more intelligence into my dream than I have. and it seemed like such a miracle, right? And then to connect Emily and to connect Kurt with this other, with other people that are doing these projects thinking. We have a TV station right now wanting to have people to show wonderful things that people are doing, and that gets really exciting. Makes me think that, the impossible that we pray for, we say, I really want to do good in this life. It's impossible. Things can become possible as we unite. We learn to play together and pray together and work together. And it's not all about just what's on the computer. It's about these heart-to-heart connections that we're making. So yeah, I would love to. I'd love to help Leanne get to know all the people from Enviro Projects and International, and see where we all fit in, where we can help each other with even. I know that Daniel was talking about even with funding, even with money. I got to see today where people have created places where people with drug problems can go just to be able to rest for a while and eat healthy and relax, and everything's paid for. And who knew that there's this much love on this planet and there's this much fortune. But I'm seeing more and more as we unite, that does exist. And I've seen where these young people have come in where there was not water and everything was kind of like desert, and learned how to create off the grid to make the land around them like green and productive again. That I said the solutions are out here. We just need to start working together and network and communicate, show each other what we're doing. Like, I don't know how many of you know that if you need to have really warm water, hot water, and you're off the grid, that actually manure from horses, when you compost it, really heats up. And if you have coils of water going through, it'll heat up the water. I mean, who knew? But that's what on this one farm they found. It wasn't hard to do at all. And on that note, I've seen things that, like the book Cast, that says that what we do to other people so that the dirty work can get done, the hard work can get done. And you think, oh, this is the way people move forward. And then you get to see at rainbow gatherings or on the kibbutz when people get to play musical jobs, and that everybody can, be the people cleaning out the outhouse like 1 week of, 6 months working together and feel proud and know that we're not oppressing other people, and that really can exist and does exist in places. Yeah, this is stuff we need to cultivate and start getting out of our like restaurants and out of our movie theaters and start like playing together, right, in nature, off the screen. And when that and I find that if I'm in pain, I'm one of these chronic pain people, but if I'm someplace where people are together in nature and I'm being creative, I'm listening to other people that are pain is not there, not in a pain-filled body at all. That's amazing medicine that exists.
Very excellent stuff, Barbara. Way to finish us off. We are at the conclusion of our show. Emily, how are we doing with all of our guests? I know we have Gracie and Marissa here. Do we have everybody taken care of, Emily, in terms of who wanted to talk today? Emily, help us finish this up.
I believe so, yes. I know Gracie's been on before and has just said just she wouldn't listen. Marissa said she didn't have anything specific to say. She just was just more interested in getting information. So I think everybody else is said what they're wanting to say, or able to talk that wanted to talk. So,
All right.
anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a great show, and thank you so much for having me on. And what a great, the guests were absolutely fabulous, and glad that I was be able to join you guys on this wonderful show. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Thanks for hopping back on, Leanne, from before, and back on now. And yeah, let's stay in touch. And good luck being in touch with Lee Rosenblum out there in California that we met through H&P. So
Yes,
we hope that works out for everybody.
I'll keep you updated. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Leanne. So Emily, you want to do the wrap-up outro? Let's finish up this baby. Let's package it up, wrap it up, put a bow on it. Emily.
So I wanted to thank Bill, Marianne, Leon, Marianne, Gracie, Marissa for joining us today. All of you are welcome back any time for any of our shows. We are here every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern for the World of Ability podcast show. Again, wanted to thank Marcus, Jay, Zach, and Lawrence for replaying this on their platforms. But also encourage everybody to check out all of our social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and subscribe, like, share, comment, and share all the links of the show and others. And if anybody has any questions, comments, they can get a hold of me at podcastengineer54@gmail.com or Kurt at projectiheart.org or 262-372-1754. So on behalf of myself, Kurt, Sue, and the rest of the World of Ability Podcast Network, wish you a safe and productive week and to stay happy.
I know.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, Leanne.
Hey, Leanne.
Bye
Thank
now.
you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Well done, everybody.